See where the stairway is in the Arndale Centre?
Yeah.
To the left of that, it was Cromford Court. And in Cromford Court, there was the Cromford Club, which was a casino. And at the side of that, there was the Jigsaw Club. And then it changed to Heaven and Hell. So Joe Cocker's Grease Band there, 66. Yeah. Another one. This was the Oasis. This is where the the Hollies. This is like the resident band here.
How long was that game?
This is how it was in trade. Look at this now.
Oh, yeah.
This is how it should be. This is life.
You said before that in the 60s you had a really vibrant city, and now it's dead. What's happened?
Well, I think it goes down to the mass clearances of the 60s. The same thing happened in Scotland, didn't it, when they shipped everybody to Canada? You know, it's just the planners have these great ideas about the city of the future, and they take the heart of the city away. Where I live in Ancoats now, there's nothing left apart from... I think there's a set of toilets left in Ancoats that I remember when I was a kid. Everything else is gone. Yeah, but we're fast becoming a major tourist city, and the most embarrassing thing that can happen to you, ask any of the club owners, you will come up against this. You get tourists who come to the bar half past 1 in the morning, and we'll come in the club, we're having a good time, and 2 o'clock comes and everything stops, and they come to the bar and they say, "Is there any chance to finish now?" You go for a licence for a club, and let's say we go through the motions of everything's okay. You've got your the fire's been around, the police has been around, everything's been around. They bring the magistrates, right? Who don't live in the city. They live in Winslow, Bramhall. They might be masons. They might like doing waltzes. They might like being a Rotarian. You know, they might like playing golf. We don't. We like to stay awake till 5 in the morning. It's just our life. You know, we need that. It's different values. Allow us our values. Give us a chance.
Your night party just goes on and on and on and on. Your night party goes on.
So it's 4 o'clock, everybody else is asleep except for us. We're up in Sunset Radio with Ewan Clark, one of Manchester's best DJs, playing all night. Ewan, you're up all night. Who are you playing to?
I'm not quite sure, actually. I have a vision in my mind. All the people that I play to, these are people that have been listening to black music for a long time, and they've reached the spiritual stage of it. That's the sort of music that I'm playing for them. But I believe black music is like, once you get into it, you're addicted to it, and you have to stay with it and follow it and find out more about it. And the more you try to find out about it, the more you get pulled in by the inspirational phase of it. Manchester's got a very strong underground movement. Musicians, DJs, and they just don't get any exposure at all. And what I try to do is I try to give them that exposure on the program, you know what I mean?
Can you tell me also about the recent history of black clubs in Manchester?
Well, they're all white-owned. In my time span, there's never been sort of like a black-owned nightclub in Manchester. There never has been. I mean, there's an amazing amount of money waiting for the first person to do that. All the clubs we've ever had to promote black music have always been like clubs that are at the end of their lease. You know what I mean? They started off as sort of like nightclubs for the mainstream white audience or whatever. You know what I mean? Your commercial line. And clubs only last so long. and then they die. And when they start to die, they lose the audience. And the managers sort of like say, well, you know, we've got to, you know what I mean? And it's always been the same. We very rarely have, and it's so sad really. The few moments that we have had them, you know, have been very enthusiastically. We see people dressed up at night and come out. And it's just sad. And I'd like to, I think that's one of my ambitions actually, to open one in Manchester. I want to be rich, and I want to keep Manchester entertained really. But it's just difficult getting them at the moment.
Now 6 in the morning, the city is still asleep, but the day is just beginning at the airport. It's the only place to go to listen to the Stone Roses and watch the planes take off for Larnaca and Ibiza. Now you can fly direct to New York. 100 years ago, you'd go to the Castlefield Basin, and you'd buy your ticket to America from this tiny booth. This transportation theme park is now a major area of regeneration.
The Whitley Street corridor is a fascinating regeneration corridor for Manchester, really. What's happened is that in 1987, the Development Corporation were designated, and they have actively stimulated redevelopment in this sort of urban fringe of Manchester.
So can you tell me, how important would you say for the city has its pop culture been?
It's been integral, to my mind, it's had an integral influence on the economy, which has never really been recognised by the mainstream economy in Manchester. And it's only now that Manchester music has become very established on an international scale, that the establishment is coming around to that way of thinking. To my mind, the best developments are those that take time. That it's sort of organic regeneration, and it's an evolutionary development pace rather than a revolutionary development pace. It's very difficult to use a contemporary environment within a historic setting, but when it's used well, it actually works fantastically.
One person investing in the area is record producer Pete Waterman.
It was a church, and it's built in 2 levels for 2 reasons. The plebs went downstairs and the hierarchy went upstairs. You know, if you worked for the Lord, you went downstairs, but if you were the Lord, you were allowed to go upstairs, where it's going to be studios and offices. You know, we've just started our own label out of Manchester, so we're running the lot. This office here is a design team, and they do all the sleeves, not just for us, but a lot of other people. So it'll be like a grand record company, like a Manchester EMI. If you look at history, the Northwest has probably been the most prolific spawner of talent, musically and probably artistically, that there is. There's something about London that is not quite as artistic as the Northwest, probably because it's all there for you and you don't have to make it, where in this part of the world you have to make the entertainment yourself. Manchester's always been a big dance area. I mean, particularly black dance area, and I think that, I mean, I came here originally, started to come here purely because of the dance culture, because I related more to the dance scene here than I did in London, because we're a little bit faster with our rhythms up here. And there are rumours that Radio 1 is going to move to Manchester. There's a very strong possibility that Top of the Pops will move to Manchester. If it does, then that one move of Radio 1 to Manchester will change completely the record industry, because there'll be no need to be in London. You know, you can fax Tokyo from here, you can fax New York from here, you can phone anywhere in the world. So it doesn't matter, you know, where you are. And a 35-minute shuttle flight from Manchester gets anybody from any part of the world. And of course we've got flights into Manchester now from Tokyo, so it's an open world really. Because if we compete in Manchester against Londoners and against New Yorkers and, you know, Europeans, we'll beat them. We'll beat them because we've got all the raw talent. But we have to do it commercially. It has to be that you've got to make a hit. You know, just because you're in Manchester, you know, I'm not going to give you money just to be in Manchester. It's get off your fat ass and go and kill them.
Manchester, home of the Industrial Revolution, is now poised to enter a new golden age. As the inner city is regenerated, the city comes to life again with the sound of industry replaced by the sound of music. the music which gives the city its identity.
Tomorrow's celebration goes out on the town in Blackpool at the same time, 10:40.
Ah, my favourite.